I think I know what this is. You see, Stan, as you get older, things that you used to like start looking and sounding like shit. And things that seemed shitty as a child don't seem as shitty. With you, somehow the wires have gotten crossed and everything looks and sounds like shit to you. It's a condition called being a cynical asshole.
Oh no.
Yes. And there's no known cure, I'm afraid. Everything just seems shitty and everyone starts to seem shitty and everything...
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Yes, Mr. Sherman, everything stinks.
All we are is dust in the wind, dude. Dust. Wind. Dude. Aim for the cat, dude. Aim for the cat. I'm trying, Evil Ted. I'm trying. Ah, just missed.
Bullshit, Mr. Handman.
Don't you understand, Steven? Somebody has to kill the babysitter.
Kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
Okay, they're talking about fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all?
Mockery.
Oh, Master, I do not trust you. I cannot trust you or anyone ever again.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
You hate to do it, but at the same time, it's hilarious. Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Saturday Night Sith. I am, as always, your host, the Fractured Filter. With me, also, as always, is my co-host, my cohort, my companion in all this madness, Jay Hitman. How are you tonight, sir?
No, I don't have a DJ board, but I tried. So pumped to be here, dude.
We are now on episode 70.
70.
Climbing them ranks, 30 away from that 100.
Live from Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, God.
Fractured and Jay Hitman.
How dare you?
Taking a massive dump in the bathroom. On the 2.
Imagine walking into
I don't know
that
why
part of the conversation. Woo.
I thought that's what we were gonna do. We're gonna for the 100th celebration, we're gonna go and just
run wild on Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, just. Well, I think it'd be absolutely. We'd probably get kicked out. Honestly, we'd probably get asked to leave.
Oh, absolutely. Wouldn't take long, probably.
Or, I mean, we get asked to leave, but then just maybe we would be whitelisted or blacklisted.
The elusive whitelisting.
They would go, but what are you guys doing? Oh, just doing our show. Well, what show is that? Oh, you might know about it. It's called Saturday Night Sith, where we just pwn all you Disney Star Wars seals. I can't even really put Star Wars, I guess. Well, I guess it's okay because their Star Wars is not the real Star Wars. So I guess it's okay putting Disney.
That is the thing, isn't it?
What a terrible place to be. What a terrible place to be.
In what regards? In terms of Star Wars, or
just this current state, the current state of Star Wars, the culture war. Tim from Open Airlock often talks about culture war. Well, the culture.
He's a culture war realist.
Culture warrior, and everything that they're pushing and have been pushing. It's just so. It's so obviously just so obvious, and it's like it's in your face, but they trade. it's like part of me sits here and is like, are they trying to put it in your face, or are they just not that intelligent and just don't really understand what they're doing? They know what they're doing,
it's kind of like at the point of this is their arrogance in it, so they think they can just go full bore. That's gonna be like the major part of it for sure. That's why we are seeing it which much more apparent and much more out in the open. It's no longer just the thing that was cleverly written around and everything, where they they snuck it in bit by bit with other pieces of media. Now it's just called obey the message or else, basically.
What do you think do you think they have a pool, like a hiring pool of people that believe in misogyny and grooming and lightsabers have feeling? I'm sorry, lightsabers don't. The crystals have feel. I mean, where do they get these people? I'm just curious. Is it
as Tim puts it, the crystal butt plugs?
Yeah. Is it Berkeley? Are they finding them at Berkeley?
What?
Are they finding these people like out of college at Berkeley?
Oh, I mean, that would probably be part of the pool, right? Just right there in Cali.
Surely they're not hiring these people outside of California.
Oh, I'm sure there's some that have come from New York and places like that.
Oh,
sure.
I forgot about New York.
Yeah, and anybody coming from a big major city, they that's where they congregate.
All those people.
That's why I stay away from major cities, man. They're breeding pools.
What was that girl's
these
name?
whack jobs.
What was her name?
Which one in particular?
Oh, stand by. Oh, Leslie Headland from LA County, Riverside, California. No, I'm just playing. Probably no. Probably Los Angeles. Land of the misogynistic. No.
So I guess that's the first topic we'll be going into.
Yeah, why not? I think so. Like, because I was just reading this on Discord, I was like, that might be a good thing.
Your attention, and you're like, you know what? That's the first.
The show is absolutely asinine. There's no point to it. Like, I don't understand it. I don't think we've actually we've talked about it, but I don't know if we did actually in depth went through this. Like this show,
Acolyte, or
we've talked about it, but this show, from what I've gathered, makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and if I remember right, this is kind of supposed to be tying in with their
Say that again. I'm sorry.
This one is supposed to be kind of related to their
say that word again.
Tied in.
No, the other word.
Related.
The other one.
Oh Christ.
Yeah.
Which one in particular? I went through a few different words already.
I think it was where you said a word. You used the term "there." Ties in
right
with there.
Their
which is
continuity.
100% correct.
Right,
This
their continuity, their madness, their delusions of
their
what they think Star Wars is now.
Which is so funny because when we talk about timeline, Favreau and Filoni, they sat there, Favreau sat there and tried to. They couldn't even explain their own timeline. So it's like until you can explain a timeline accurately.
Everything was apparently 2 years. 2 years.
Subjectively.
For the whole thing with Mando and Grogu and stuff like that. Yeah.
How long would be? How many episodes do you think 2 years would be? 4 episodes because we have 4 episodes.
Well, like it is, their progression of time is very ridiculous. They have no sense of it, and it's never been on point. So,
as a DC elitist, the Barry Allen, the Flash, the Speed Force, the timeline, that whole concept of time makes more sense. Like flashpoint paradoxes and flashpoints and speed, that makes more sense than this timeline. When you say, "Oh yeah, it's 2 years," and going back and forth, and it's like, well, what's 2 years? Because and that's a whole other can of worms. I know we're talking about Acolyte, but I think just to bring a little more depth into it, like they don't even know their timeline.
No,
and
they
this
don't.
timeline's so jacked. And you and I have sat here and have tried to figure out like
just what their
this
timeline is. Yeah.
And what's so interesting yet frustrating is that we have to sit here and try to put this timeline together. Versus
we're just trying to make sense of it ourselves
without like somebody actually like explaining like this is point A, this is point B, this is C, A plus B equals C, divided by D equals fish.
Right.
Like they just throw this stuff out here and like, oh yeah, well, we got some smart people watching the show. Well, the people that love the show, they're dumb. But we got these other people that we know are going to critique it, so they'll just do our jobs for us. Literally.
Well, even their own, they'll just rely on their own fan base to do the storytelling for them, to fill in the gaps and stuff like that. That's the most ridiculous thing about a lot of this.
Ridiculous.
Abso-freaking-lutely. So yes, the Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland points to Star Wars creator George Lucas as an example of the misogyny of the auteur myth.
Like, you know what's interesting before we jump into this? It's like everybody goes around beholden to George. Like these people that broke out into this business, if you will,
right,
because of George. Like these, and again, you can call me biased, and there are times that I have been biased in my life. But one thing I can emphatically say is that these people would not know anything about Star Wars if it wasn't for George. And it's like, hey man, you always put George on a pedestal. You just love idolatry, and go suck a fart. No, it's not. George was the creator, and he created this. But it's so interesting that like people, when like George is around, like, oh George, you're amazing. I learned so much from you, and I wouldn't be who I am today without you. Blah blah blah. And then when he's out of the picture, it's like, wow, George Lucas is a misogynistic pig who created a racist world of aliens who didn't like people, and Palpatine was a racist, and blah 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 blah. And it's just interesting that like when he's gone or he's out of the picture, then people want to basically besmirch his name and say all this stuff about him. Like,
that's been kind of the funny thing that's been noticed a lot. And I believe like Raging Rhino's been pointing this out, and the guys over at the Spacing Open Airlock, they've been pointing this out, is how over time now they have been slowly but surely beginning to basically, like criticize and use kind of, I'm trying to look for the insult and, it's furthering the, deride or whatever. Just, they are beginning to now take shots at the original creator, which is kind of emblematic of leftism, that they always eventually they bite the hand that feeds them. And that's the George Lucas has been has provided the biggest feast for them all. And here they are now just completely biting back when they get every chance they can to then also, like we've noticed through their own their original characters don't steal. They prop up those characters at the cost of George's originally created characters.
It's just so funny that like, and we sat here a couple of shows ago where like I have heard, like this is not a subjective comment. Like I heard Filoni say that George was in a what's the word? Incremental part? Not incremental. Is it incremental? Right. He was saying that like he basically called George his mentor, and then he sat there, talked both sides out of his mouth, and then basically replaced George with Kathleen Kennedy, who, in my opinion, has done bunkus for this franchise other than just destroy it.
Right.
Has done nothing. Right. Everybody's like, well, she's actually had a really good career. Like, really? Again, this is just my opinion, and I'm so glad everybody's here turning in, because if you didn't, then you wouldn't like my opinion. But my opinion, I don't think she's done anything, and I don't care for her. I don't like her. I think she's worthless. I don't know her as a person. So I'm not talking about her as a person, but as a director, she's absolutely worthless. Well, that's wrong, Jay Hitman. Look at Indiana Jones. Okay, that's fine. I'm not an Indiana Jones fan, so I don't really care. I'm talking about Star Wars because this is a Star Wars show. She's done nothing for Star Wars. Well, how can you say that? She worked for freaking George all these years, and like, yeah, she worked for George all those years. What has she done? Where are her where are the fruits of her labor? Nothing. But it's 7, 8, and 9 were really good, Jay Hitman. Really? Really? What was good about them? Just the cinematic, just the costumes and the little people that fixed C-3PO and taught him how to speak Sith and like go. Really?
Oh god.
That's what you're going with? That's what made it good?
God.
7 was a freaking steal off A New Hope. And who created A New Hope? Not Filoni, not Favreau. Not Kennedy.
No,
last time I heard it was George. So everything goes back to George. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're supposed to read the article. I got a little bit irritated.
Hey, no, I by all means, I understand. Feel your
this Yahoo. I know nothing about
the hatred flow through you.
I don't even know. Should I call her Miss Headland, Mrs. Headland, or do I just say Headland? Don't know. Whatever. Because she's out here just wants to talk about misogyny. I don't want to be accused of being a misogynistic
demonic hellspawn works. I think
this person, I could say it, but I mean, and you know what's funny?
This creature.
40 years ago, if you had called somebody an it, that would have been the highest level disrespect. Would have been the highest
very
level
disrespectful.
Very disrespectful. We live in a culture today where it is acceptable. People would rather be called an it. So maybe I should just refer to this person as an it.
A creature. I just wanted to describe
this
John Ropus, welcome Shaggy. He says, "Hey guys, what's up?
What's up, Shaggy?" We'll say this calf hound is calf hound. Can I use calf hound?
I almost think that's a little insulting to the calf hound.
Oh, you're okay. Scruffy looking nerf herder.
Okay.
This nerf herder. This bantha is bantha. That's actually banthas are actually
banthas actually provides a use. Jawa works.
Listen, Jawas do a lot for the community of Tatooine.
Womprat.
How dare you put her in the same category as a Jawa?
Womprat. Does Womprat work?
What about that thing? Oh, what about the Wamba from Empire Strikes Back?
Oh God! We're okay. I'm up between the Wamba and the Womprat. Yeah. But I'm leaning towards Womprat. I feel like it's very appropriate.
Anyway, this person, I know nothing about Leslie Headland. But
the only thing I know is that she worked for Weinstein, and Weinstein is responsible for a lot of casting. Was it casting couch?
What a bold statement to come out and say an example of misogyny of the auteur myth.
Well, and especially from somebody that in terms of the whole les misogyny. She would have been technically very much a part of with her boss, and from current year perspective. So it's rather amusing, I must say. She has quite the cojones to be doing that. I mean, that just goes to show the
it's just
short
so stupid.
The short attention span of people that they don't keep an eye on this.
I don't even want to go through this article because just the whole you coming out and saying that in her word, her words are that George isn't a misogynistic thing, but however, George's response, what is it the title of this say? Example of misogyny.
Headland points to Star Wars creator George Lucas as an example of misogyny of the auteur myth.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Reading this headline, could you just infer, because we don't want to assume, that she's calling George out being misogynistic?
More or less, yes.
Just play on words.
That's the implication of the article's title, yes.
So I'm going because I want to be very firm and be sure we're well educated and we're not just talking just for the sake of talking like other people who have
Out our
shows that
backsides.
I'm not gonna. Anyways, so misogyny, dislike or contempt of or ingrained prejudice against women. She felt like she was struggling against thinly disguised misogyny. So that's the definition of misogyny. So please explain to me how George was a misogynistic pig. Like, again, maybe we can do the article, but like I'm so fired up right now because you are with your dumb glasses and your calf hound looking frou-frou hair and come out and say that basically, again, the headline doesn't say that she's calling him misogynistic, but use your brain and read between the lines. She might as well be saying he's misogynistic. He's an example. Lucas as an example of misogyny. How was George a misogynistic pig? Please tell me.
I mean,
please tell me. I'm going to give you 3 examples.
Much evidence towards the contrary. So
3 examples. Leia, Mara Jade.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I would say, I mean, Leia, the fact that he had his wife that worked on Star Wars with him and stuff like that. I mean, he had his daughter was helping with the Clone Wars. Should we
go back to where we always try to go back to EU? Like, I don't see anything that says or shows that he is.
Karen Travis was instrumental with helping with the Mandalorian culture.
This is just dumb. This is just people literally saying what they're told. Like maybe this person actually does feel like it. But again,
okay,
like, if you sit here and say that, where's your evidence? Because if you don't have any evidence to back up your claim, you're just talking outside your mouth, and you look like an idiot.
Right.
Well, you're not an idiot. I'm not saying you're an idiot, but you look like an idiot.
No, I know what you mean. So basically, with this is going off the example of misogyny of auteur myth in an unearthed podcast. Appearing on IndieWire's Filmmaker Toolkit podcast, Hedlund was asked by the host about a piece she wrote in The Hollywood Reporter where she allegedly challenged the auteur theory. She was asked, quote, this concept less of a voice or author of more that they do it by themselves. Am I wrong about that? Is that in that sense of it's one thing to have vision, it's one thing to have an author, but there's an element of how that comes to life. Okay. Hedlund responded, I think it's also just my experience in the hiring world of being a female writer/director. The number of jobs
sorry.
Oh boy.
Sneezed.
The number of jobs that I have not gotten, infinite in amount of work that I have done to get them is enormous. Was that in between helping Weinstein get bait for for his lonely evenings? And okay, back. And listen, no one said to my face, we don't think you can do this because you are a girl. But I do think there is an idea of what a director looks like. But she's going off of her own assumptions now. She's just drawing her own conclusions without any evidence. And like she says, she was never told to her face, so she's just assuming this. She has no evidence for it. She continued, and a lot of people will say, no, it's what you do, and the cream rises to the top, and just the best person for the job. And this is the thing, like, when it comes to like Hollywood making movies and crap like that, you don't have to rely on the system itself. That's why there's the whole independent circuit. People can go and make movies as they see fit. You don't have to do it within the system. That's for damn sure. And the only reason I disagree with that is partially because the auteur myth is so strong that it is really what they want to see is a guy come in there who will do everything himself, who basically can say, I will do all of this by myself and it will be perfect and you don't need to worry about everything. So just basically your kind of typical kind of alpha male type that's ready to come in, get the job done like she already describes, and then having an assertiveness to do that. So what's stopping you? I mean, you could be that projected image. There's nothing stopping you. Only your own insecurities, perhaps. Headland went on, and it justifies some crazy behavior. It justifies, like, I remember somebody telling me something about a male showrunner / creator type person and their behavior. And listen, I'm not perfect by any means, but I think if you set yourself up that way, male or female, you are setting yourself up for failure. You are setting yourself up to fail because there is no way to do something like Russian Doll by yourself. There's no way to do something like any of the films that I mentioned in that Hollywood Reporter article. She then shifted the conversation to Star Wars. One of the things that I just did recently is I bought all the concept art for Star Wars, for the original Star Wars, by that great guy. I've forgotten his name. I just bought the 2-volume book about him and Ralph McQuarrie. That's his name, Jesus. So I've just recently got his 2-volume set of the Star Wars concept art from Ralph McQuarrie. And I'm just like, this is insane, she remarked. This guy created Star Wars. Like, really, like, you see the evolution of the idea from what George is trying to express to him, to what he puts down on the piece of paper, to what it eventually becomes, to why he makes particular decisions, like why he decides to take things in one direction and not the other. Headland then asserted, this is like what we understand to be Star Wars. The idea that like that only came from George Lucas. That only George Lucas holds the key for what we understand to be Star Wars is just untrue. And I think the prequels are an excellent example of that. Wow. Really? A guy that at least had a consistent vision, knew what he wanted to see be put on screen, and did just that. Ralph McQuarrie, yes, would put together beautiful artwork and concept art and stuff like that, but that was like, even kind of she's pointed out, George was giving feeding him what he wanted to see, and I believe even there are sketches from George himself that was showing what he was putting together. So, it is still, yes, he's the leader. He's the one, kind of giving the directions on what a director, what he wants to have seen be put on the screen. He makes those certain choices because he does believe what he feels there needs to be up on the screen. There's actually a clip that I'll try and dig up too that'll feed into that a little bit. But I mean, I'm not understanding the problem with this though. It's just him he is taking charge. He is the one that has created this world. He knows what he wants to see from it. Yeah, he's gonna get he does hold the keys to the Star Wars kingdom in that regards. But you look at McQuarrie's work and you realize what an indelible mark that this man has made on culture via this one role he played on this film. She continued, and the idea that like when you are hiring a director, that everyone is sitting in there waiting for George Lucas and not for the one person who is going to know to hire Ralph McQuarrie. That's the problem. That's the misogyny. And the problem with the auteur myth as it stands. What? Did any of that make sense to you?
Absolutely not.
Because, I mean, even before, starting some of this project up, I'm sure George himself was probably shopping around for certain people that would help bring this to life. So he might have already had McQuarrie in mind. I'd have to go back. I'd have to just go through a lot of the behind the scenes and stuff for Star Wars and everything. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd already probably seen some work from McQuarrie, wanted him on the project because of what he believed he could help with some of the concept art to help bring the world to life from that beginning process. But where's the misogyny in that? Considering he hired a dude.
Well, that's just it, because he hired a dude. He's misogynistic.
Well, I guess we'll find out, because they are not thinking this is the person that will hire the right people, and this is the person that will be able to create the lookbooks and direct people. Lookbooks? What the fuck? And direct people to get them to that place. They're just thinking, do you have all the answers? You just described what directors do, bitch. They are supposed to be they are the people to get the looks, to bring it to, because they still have to finalize what they want to bring to life on screen. They are still they still have that idea in their head on how it looks. But yes, like, having that artist does help, flesh it out, but he still has what he wants to see. And he just needs that, either the use of the camera or the use of a concept artist to help bring it to life further. They're just thinking, do you have all the answers? And the truth is that nobody does, and anybody that says they do is lying, she said. But the only person that has, yes, the answers to the world is the person wanting to create that world. They are, yes, the only ones that have that's why anytime people wait for like certain details for it to be canon, they rely on hearing it from the source, from whomever's creating that said project. It's like you wouldn't rely on a third party to give you like, oh, this is the actual canon for, Game of Thrones. Don't listen to George R.R. Martin, the actual creator of the series. No. Listen to this goofy third party. The basically the fan fiction writers. Listen to them. Don't listen to the actual creator. As I have my problems with certain creators for sure, but they are kind of the ones that know what's meant to be in that world, what should be fleshed out and stuff like that. Hedlund would later state, whether it's an editor like Thelma or Marcia Lucas, whether it's an editor or production designer like Polly Platt, or if it's an actor, it is a Gwen Verdon or Mia Farrow. The idea that that person is replaceable and the writer director is not is something I would challenge. And I would challenge that to myself as well. I would take myself to that task. I'm not any more indispensable than my crew is. I mean, this could just come from also being within the Disney Lucasfilm environment as it is. Because look at how quickly they fired many directors and stuff like that from projects like Rogue One, from the Solo movie. Yeah, those people are considered replaceable. But no, the actual person that is wanting to place that vision out on the screen, no, they are not. Yes, actors are replaceable because you can always find somebody maybe there is somebody that'll be better fitting for that role. Yes, you might have first been like, they're the one, they'll work out. But as they go along, it's like, maybe not. Maybe this isn't quite working out for us. We need somebody that'll bring a different energy to the role or something. But the director that is, and I mean, this could also just be like the director that just grabs any script and starts working on it. They aren't the original writers or whatever. But when you have the person that is creating originally that project, they aren't replaceable. At least I would say so. I wouldn't go to anybody else for, wanting that particular vision in mind. But that's me. Ironically, Hedlund's example makes absolutely no sense given Lucas hired McCreary to help pitch Star Wars to Fox. In an interview from the Lucasfilm Vault, McCreary detailed George, quote, George talked about Star Wars and he didn't have a title yet, but the concept for a film that was going to be a big galactic war. And then when he started to talk to Fox, it seemed to him a good idea to have some illustrations to show the scope of the visuals that he planned, which I think in George's mind was a big part of the movie. And I told him that I'd love to do it. So he already, again, he did have him in mind. McQuarrie continued. He and Gary Kurtz came over one day with the script. I started on it the same day, I think. I really got into it right away, working on those original paintings that were really done to sell the film. George and Gary went off, left me doing more paintings. Fox wanted me to do more paintings. Gary and George went to England and started scouting this whole thing from a budget point of view. Came back 3 or 4 weeks later saying, looks like they're going to do this film. McQuarrie then shared, I never really thought it would be a film while I was working on those original paintings. It seemed so vast a project to me. There was quite a few things set up by George, and I felt I was drawing what he wanted things to look like. I don't think that either of us thought that the way the movie was going to look necessarily. These were just sketches that were the best we could do in terms of how he felt or how we felt it should look, but not necessarily the end product in the sense that this was really going to be it. But it sort of turned out to be it in the end. For the most part, some of those paintings were virtually rendered intact onto the screen in Star Wars for certain scenes, he concluded. As for Hedlund's claim that anyone is replaceable, Marcia Lucas would probably agree with her, as she made it clear she did not like what Kathleen Kennedy, Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, and Lucasfilm did to the property. In Howard Kazanjian, A Producer's Life by author J.W. Rinsler, she told him, now that Kathleen Kennedy is running Lucasfilm and making movies, it to me that Kathy Kennedy and J.J. Abrams don't have a clue about Star Wars. They don't get it. And J.J. Abrams is writing these stories. When I saw that movie where they killed Han Solo, I was furious. I was furious when they killed Han Solo. Absolutely, positively, there was no rhyme or reason to it. She added, I thought, you don't get the Jedi story. You don't get the magic of Star Wars. You're getting rid of Han Solo. And then at the end of this last one, The Last Jedi, they have Luke disintegrate. They killed Han Solo. They killed Luke Skywalker. And they don't have Princess Leia anymore. And they're spitting out movies every year. And they think it's important to appeal to a woman's audience. So now their main character is this female who's supposed to have Jedi powers, but we don't know she got Jedi powers or who she is. It sucks. The storylines are terrible, just terrible, awful, Lucas concluded. Lucas also noted she was not the heart of Star Wars. I wouldn't think so. I definitely made scenes work. I made the end battle work. I definitely had a lot to do with making it work, but I wasn't the writer and I wasn't the director. And I didn't come up with the creative names. Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, all those names are classics. George came up with all of it using his amazing imagination, she said. So, yeah, what do you make of Hedlund's claims?
My brain hurts.
All of our brains hurt.
I mean, at
all of that.
What point through this article did she give any evidence that he was misogynistic, or did I miss that?
Hedlund had no real claim or real specific point to which, yes, George would have been considered misogynistic. It just seemed to have been the term she decided to throw out during a podcast interview that she was a part of, and to put it towards the artistic, the auteur, as it's referred to. But you know, it's just basically it just seems like she threw it out as everybody refers to it now as just a buzzword to kind of get attention for using it. There was no furthering of backup to it. She just was trying to make a bold claim, and that she wants to try and challenge the status quo, but at the same time saying that anybody can do it. It was very confusing. It was very weird. And she didn't have any real evidence to which was pointing that George himself would have been considered misogynistic. Again, it was just kind of throwing the term out there at the end and considering, the evidence, who was on the project, who was one of the lead stars in Star Wars, is very evidence to the contrary. And even the prequels as well.
It just, in my opinion, is somebody who just wants 5 minutes of fame. So you decide to do the only thing that you are able to do and besmirch somebody's name to basically have 5 minutes of fame via an article. It's just so stupid. Like we said, like you have no evidence. Like if you're going to come out with a claim, have evidence to back up your claim, because if you don't have evidence to back up your claim, then it's just empty words. It's just your opinion, right? And you're entitled to your opinion. That's fine. But if you have an opinion that's not backed
some receipts to go along with that,
then you're just talking, and you look unintelligent. You look like just a woke. I wish I was. I really wish I was on that show when you guys did the discussion about wokeism, because I really I have now found
that was a good time
as we progress through this culture and just the days. It's like when somebody asked me what woke was, and I was like, I couldn't answer it. I was like, because I had 30,000 different things that come to my mind.
Yeah, there's
once,
a lot.
There's
no
it really baby grooming.
Well, would this be
not even liberal, but baby? Well, I just anyways. So I just get so frustrated with this, and I get frustrated because, I do love George. Was there? And again, that's not to say that I don't agree with some of the things that George did. Like there are things that he did that I disagreed with. I.e., perfect example when we talked about last show with the fight that we should have got from Palpatine, right? And he changed it because he wanted Ian to be more on film. Like that's something that I 1000% disagree with George on. And if I ever had the opportunity to take that man to coffee, I would ask him, like, George, what are you doing? Like, you read the book. I know you read the book. And so, but again, like, to basically come out and say this dude's misogynistic because I just feel like he's misogynistic. I don't really know why he's misogynistic, because we get a character. We got a character that is force sensitive, but we didn't really understand why she was force sensitive and where she got her powers. So because that he's just misogynistic because he didn't explain why. I mean, was I hearing that right? Was she referencing Rey, or was I just zonked out?
That was Marsha Lucas talking about Rey. Okay. Yes, yeah, but that wasn't Headland.
Then I retract my statement. But it's just nonsense. It's linguistic nonsense to come out and say you're misogynistic, or this person is the example of misogynistic in the Outlaws myth. Like, you might as well just change your headline to George is misogynistic, but I have no basis on my claim that he's misogynistic.
Right.
But I'm just going to say he's misogynistic because I feel like Filoni would want me to say it, Kathleen Kennedy would want me to say it, and every single SEAL would want me. Like, you have no basis. It's idiotic, man.
No, I agree.
Like, honestly, it's like I can't even it's so stupid. I can't even come up with an example. I couldn't even act it to anything. You're just talking out your mouth. Because this is what the woke side would expect somebody to say.
Right.
Well, he's misogynistic because he's a guy and he's the creator of one of the greatest, not even one of the greatest, the greatest. Like, if you put Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, Stargate 47, or what is it? Stargate what?
SG-1.
SG-1, I apologize. If you put all the science, and I hope Tim's not watching or Greg because they'll kill me, but in my opinion, like, it's in my opinion, it's the greatest. Other people will argue, but like, because he created this and it is the greatest thing, or one of the greatest things, and it has withstood since 1970. I always say gosh darn it, 1977 till now. Like, I just feel like this girl just wants her 5 minutes of fame, and how you go about getting your fame is attacking somebody with a stupid, absolutely asinine claim that this dude is misogynistic, yet have no evidence to the contrary.
Right.
Like, can you imagine if you had a presidential debate or a debate amongst the candidates for going up for prime minister, and one guy, it's like back in 2016 with George when it was Jeff Bush and Donald Trump, and Jeff Bush said something stupid to Donald, and Donald's like, that's why you're 62 points behind and I'm ahead of you. He makes a stupid claim, and then he comes and it may not be the greatest example, but the basis, still the point I'm trying to make is still, like, you come to a debate and you claim this guy is sexist because you think he's sexist, but he has a wife and he caters to his wife and only his wife, or make whatever argument you want to make. The point is, like, you have no evidence for it, so you're literally just there talking.
Right.
And her pink blazer's stupid that she's wearing. I'm just frustrated. Like, I'm so over this. Just and the longer that we do this show, the longer that we're sat here watching the I mean, Star Wars is already gone. I mean, if it's not gone, we hold on to hope that it's not gone. But the more that we do this, the longer that we do this show, and the more that these people come out with these ridiculous articles, it's like do 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 do. Like, at this point in time, you just expect it. You expect to hear just ridiculous stupidity come out of these people's mouths. But then when we read the articles, we're like, how stupid can you be? I'm not saying you shouldn't call people stupid. It's not right to call somebody stupid, but what she's saying is stupid because she has no claim. She's making a claim with no evidence.
Right.
It's like
you're
fat.
Pointing out the facts, man.
What do you mean I'm fat? Well, you're just a fat person. Well, I'm 110 pounds soaking wet. So how am I fat? Well, you're just fat because you eat food. Like, what? So I'm fat. I'm 110 pounds. My BMI is, whatever. I'm healthy, but you say I'm fat because I eat food. Like, it's just stupid. My brain is broke right now. My brain is broke.
That's kind of what these people do to you. It's gonna break your brain.
You've been very polite sitting here listening to my rant, but it's like, you said what I make of it. It's like, Wookie, get in here, you turkey. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't understand the point of this article. It's 15 minutes of our lives, 20 minutes of our lives we won't get back because she sat here making a claim against George that he's misogynistic, or he's an example of it.
Part of the big problem is that whoever she was doing this podcast with also did not have the scrote to say anything for fear of then also probably being called misogynistic, because if it was like a guy or two guys or whatever, or even, I mean, it could have been a woman, but I mean, usually a lot of times that's the situation.
Like me calling her sexist because she's on a podcast with a dude. How dare you be on a podcast with a dude, you sexist? You know you're supposed to only talk to women.
The thing is, like, they aren't going to call her out for fear of being called then misogynistic or something, because they dare question a woman. You don't do that.
I would love to have a woman on the show. Bring him on. Like, I do not care. I do not report to you. You do not pay my salary. Like, it's just this whole fear of being canceled is stupid.
No,
it is
I agree
absolutely
with you.
Stupid. Like, I'm not gonna, like, I appreciate what you're saying, and I'm so sorry that you had to endure all these years of prejudice because you're a woman and all this. Like, it's no different than people who, like, what is the term? Not retribution. Where they feel like they should be paid for slavery.
Oh,
but you're 20 years old. Well, my ancestors were slaves.
Reparations.
So reparation. I deserve reparation because of slavery. How old are you? Well, I'm 19 years old, but I deserve, because you, the white man, opposed my people for all these years. It's like
I never did.
I put your people in slavery. I'm the one. Like it's so. It's just it. I don't even know where I'm going with that, man. Like my brain.
It's okay,
like
dude.
it's just.
Okay. I get it.
No, but no, that's what I'm saying. Like the fear. It's like
no, yeah.
I had nothing to do with slavery, and I had nothing to do with misogyny. So like, it's just. Yeah. Who is she? Is she on the payroll for Star Wars, Lucas? Is she on the payroll for Lucas? I'm assuming so because she's doing Acolyte.
Leslie Headland. Yeah, she's doing Acolyte. So
she's
she is
director?
currently she's the showrunner for Acolyte. So yeah,
because George
in bed with them.
So if George employed Carrie Fisher.
Right.
And he's the example of misogyny. Did Filoni employ Rosaria Dawson? So why is Filoni not misogynistic?
Well, he is
have
a good little puppet boy. So.
Did Favreau have anything? Any say? Or okay, did Kevin Feige hire Joanna?
Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson.
I'm sure he probably takes credit for it. Yeah.
Is he not misogynistic? Like, again, you sit here and you make the claim that Lucas is an example of misogyny, but he hired Carrie. So the point I'm trying to make is, what is your evidence? Because if he was misogynistic, and the definition of misogyny is what I say, prejudice or disliking against women, there would be no women in Star Wars. Absolutely not. Luke would have had a brother.
Right.
Vader would have never had a wife. Vader would have.
We wouldn't have gotten Luke.
No. Like it's so. But again, you're not going to. Absolutely not. You're not going to sit there and call Filoni misogynistic. But again, even if she did, Filoni doesn't have the cojones to even do anything about it because he's like, oh, no, you're right. I just love Ahsoka. Love Ahsoka. Have you heard about my character, Ahsoka? So, I don't know. I'm fired up. I need another bubbly.
Let me get through some because Wookie, I think you maybe need to lay off the vodka the way you're typing. First it was thought it was in another 15 minutes. He thought we were starting later. I don't eat food, just vodka. I'm playing Diablo, almost a Paragon. Reparation my buttocks. Rosario is married to Booker the Centaur. And Headland is gay. There is what she didn't participate with Weinstein.
He's over there drinking vodka, eating pineapple pizza right now. I feel like
I'm trying to decipher what he's saying. But I believe there's the implication that she might have participated or didn't participate with Weinstein. I don't know. She might have joined in. Straddled some of the ladies while Weinstein went to town. You don't know. It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, you're also playing games too. So playing that Diablo 4. Debating it. Trying to not die in chat. Keep your focus, man. Good stuff. Well, I would certainly hope not. Jesus, Wookie. Do they even have kids running around in Diablo? I don't even remember any in the original in 2 or 3. Maybe 3. But not in 2. Like I said, I've been debating it. Hitman, are you still there?
I'm here. I'm just trying to.
I wasn't sure if you just like your brain just completely.
No, it's fried.
Shut down. Completely destroyed.
Can you play your fatality?
I should get something like that. Because I've recently had to reformat my computer and everything, I'm going to try and set up something so I can just hit sound cues, my own little soundboard, since I use Touch Portal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and set something like that up so I don't have to always rely on playing something here in StreamYard. But hang on,
I ain't doing this.
Hang on, let me. Hang on. It's gonna be still a video clip, but I did have. I had. Where is it? Oh, hang on. Oh shit! I don't know if it's on here. Backups, videos. I think it's gonna be on here. Let's see. Unreal Tournament. It's got to be on here somewhere. Pretty sure. No? Didn't have it on here? Damn. I thought I backed it up. Shoot. Oh, I forgot I had this.
Please, disperse. Nothing to see here, please. Please disperse.
Doesn't want to play properly. God damn it. Fine, I'm getting rid of that video. Bye. But yeah, I did have the a sound clip from Unreal Tournament where it says, "Holy shit."
I've been like fatality.
Yeah, I'll have to, like I said, I'll have to set some of that sort of stuff up when I get the next chance to. It'll come. It'll come. Damn. Well, that annoys me because I thought I still had it on. I thought I had it on here. It makes me very angry. Oh well. Anywho, on to what? Let's see. Let's go on to the challenged one. Apparently, Filoni here is feeling challenged. His biggest challenge, even with the Ahsoka series. And let's see what that is. Dave Filoni divulges the hardest part about making Ahsoka's Disney Plus show. Ahsoka showrunner Dave Filoni revealed the biggest challenge that he faced working on the live-action Disney Plus series. Ahsoka, who has been a part of the Star Wars canon since her debut in 2008, the Clone Wars movie, is about to get her own live-action series for the first time after years of winning over fans in animation. The series will see a number of animated Star Wars characters similarly jump onto live action as Ahsoka did during The Mandalorian Season 2, including Star Wars Rebels fan favorite Harrison Dula, Ezra Bridger, and villainous Grand Admiral Thrawn. Your favorite.
Bleh.
And as was the case when Ahsoka made her live action debut, these will not be the same versions of these characters fans know and love, with changes expected for nearly every one of them. Yes, we went over an article, last week about that? About Thrawn being completely different in terms of performance and stuff like that because of Mickelson deciding to not watch his original performance to help replicate that. No, decided to go with something completely new. Speaking in the latest issue of Empire magazine, Ahsoka showrunner Dave Filoni broke down some of the things he had to juggle in developing the Star Wars show. Filoni remarked that the biggest challenge of it all was making something for both the audience that know her and those that don't, balancing what came before and what's really possible. This is where people just need to, make stuff, just make what you want to make, get what you need to out. Don't worry about it, because I mean, if people do end up liking the character as is, they will seek out the information to discover more about that character, which will then lead him to the Clone Wars, sadly, and other things. The biggest challenge, quote, the biggest challenge was there's a whole bunch of audience that know her and a whole bunch that don't. She has one foot in the Star Wars that a lot of people know because of her connection to Anakin, and yet she's all new and can go in her own direction in her own way. I think that makes her an interesting bridge between what came before and what's really possible. Only because you've shoehorned her into every goddamn thing possible, you Kmart cowboy little weirdo. And I'll always go back to the Revenge of the Sith novelization. She should have had no connection to Anakin whatsoever. She didn't belong in it whatsoever. She was this weird creation brought out of nowhere for this whole series. Damn it, I can't find the novel. Here it is. I recently marked the spot. Because I have the paperback, so I could do all this. So this is even from within the Revenge of the Sith novelization. There's nothing. I'll just kind of read the little paragraph. Oh no, here because this is a conversation between Palpatine and Anakin. And Palpatine first starts saying, Anakin, anything that might upset a man such as yourself is certainly something. Let me help. There's nothing you can do. It's just Anakin nodded after C-3PO and R2. I was just thinking that even after all I've done, C-3PO is still the only person I know who calls me master. No, nothing like an apprentice or anything like that was originally there. He had no apprentice. Continuing on, looking back on what it was like working on Ahsoka in both animation and live action, the Star Wars creator added at the why do I get the feeling this is going to be in this paragraph down here, but at the time he did the Star Wars Rebels epilogue, he knew if he was going to come back to that story, he was going to need a new challenge, which the transition to live action ultimately became. Quote, even at the time I did Rebels epilogue, I felt like if I go forward with this has to be challenging in another way. And the challenge was going to be live action. I wanted to resolve things about her, but I wanted to do something new with it. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy knew of my interest in live action and was working for a way for me to make that jump. So she would get me on set because I was not trained in it at all, and I'd sit there and watch J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, and Gareth Edwards. Why? So this is like why only Dave Filoni could make Ahsoka. Well, there goes this flying in the face of what Headland was trying to go on about. Not only is Ahsoka going to move along both the Mandoverse story and follow up on those hanging threads from Star Wars Rebels, but it also kind of full circle moment for Dave Filoni and Ahsoka and the Ahsoka character. Ahsoka is Filoni's original Star Wars creation, and he has described how much it means for him to bring the character into live action. He has called working on Ahsoka, yeah, we went over that article as well, a religious experience, as he gets to see the character's story through. And because of all of this, nothing was going to be too big for Filoni to get Ahsoka off the ground. No balancing of animated legacy and live action future, meticulous costume changes, or even a global pandemic was going to stop the Clone Wars creator from moving ahead with Ahsoka. While some would look at plates, Filoni has to spin on a project like this and turn away. he seems almost excited by them, getting to solve the ultimate puzzle around a character that he lives and breathes. Given how involved Filoni is in the series, having written every episode, fans should be excited that Lucasfilm has the right man on the job when it comes to a live action Ahsoka project. Yeah, so Filoni is feeling very challenged, whether it's mentally or otherwise, I don't know. But I mean, he is certainly doing everything and anything he can to have his character take take a big moment in time, a storyline from old Luke, who appeared, from what I've heard, has nothing to do in this series. Yeah.
How does he justify Ahsoka? Has anybody ever asked that question?
I don't think so, but that's a good one.
Like, honestly, how do you justify it? You mentioned the book, Revenge of the Sith, which Matthew Stover, yeah. I need to go back and reread it. But I'm just curious, like, how do you justify it? Character wasn't ever supposed to be a thing. So, yeah. How do you do it? Like what?
That's, that, you know, honestly, that's the question.
I will ask the question because, like, she was never, like, was she mentioned in the book?
Not at all.
So where was she?
Like, it is. Nobody ever called Anakin master, so he had no apprentice whatsoever.
Like, I read the book. I don't know if you, I mean, I'm sure you read the book.
Yeah, we're listening to the audio book right now. Chiefster and I, we're both listening to it on our like drives to work and stuff. So it's been fun listening to it.
Just curious how this character came to fruition.
Ever the freaking question. But yeah, so for some things, yes, there is that challenge of trying to go from two different mediums, but I mean, there's still in the sense of in a world of animation, you have a lot more freedom in terms of visuals and everything like that. It's stylized. While then, yes, once you start bringing people into it, real human beings, it gets a little different. But so long as the casting's right, then you just need to move along and make sure everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they have their Ahsoka. So, I mean, they got their Ahsoka. They've got, you know, their goofy volume and stuff like that. I get this now. It's just called, all right, just do the rest of the legwork.
This is very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just know that this is coming in August. It should be interesting.
For sure, 1000% interesting.
Especially with the fact that Ray Stevenson has passed away, so I almost feel like they have like a shield. So, in case people criticize it, oh, you're criticizing a dead man now? I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. Just watch. It'll happen.
You think that's what they're going to say?
I have a sinking suspicion that they'll try and use it as a shield. But they'll probably more use the fact that there's women in it, and they're going to be like, well, it's just because you hate women. And I'm just at the point of just going, yes, it's fine. I hate women. Deal with it, bitches.
So frustrating.
It really is. It's also tiresome. So that was that.
I wonder if they're gonna be like, oh, you criticize a dead man. I wonder if they'll say that.
Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if they end up taking that sort of angle.
Be very curious.
Very curious indeed. All right. Should we get into Star Wars Outlaws now?
Yes, I want to watch this.
All
Not
right.
because I'm excited, but I saw the picture, and just FYI for those that are watching this, like, just mentally prepare yourself. It's not good.
So
From what
this will
I get, from what I see, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to be the trailer we're going off of first. I do have the gameplay trailer as well. So we'll go after that after the trailer. Here we go. Are you watching Fem Solo? That's what that's what we're going into next. All right, let me know if you can hear it.
These are dangerous times. At least that's what I...
Did you hear her talking?
Yeah, I heard it.
The Empire? They're everywhere.
Can they themselves get away from the Empire era?
No.
Like, this isn't even like the Imperial remnant. This is just still Empire era, from my understanding. Ugh.
But the world here belongs to the syndicates.
Wait a minute. So that's clearly Han Solo Carbonite.
Yes.
So I'm guessing then between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Oh no. Oh no. I shouldn't say this, but are they doing what I think they're doing? They're trying to make their own Shadows of the Empire.
Why would you do that now? I was having somewhat of a good day, and you bring
all they
like
do
that?
is rip off the EU. And this is dealing with Outlaws, the underworld. That's what Shadows of the Empire did. We had Shizor, a great new villain brought in. And now they're trying to do some dog off. But that's what I got the sinking suspicion this is going to try to be, but their quote unquote open world game, which I got something for that. Yeah.
Belongs to the syndicates. If I want to survive, I have to play their game.
Okay.
Looks like I'm all in.
She's in here somewhere.
On second thought, I'm out.
There she is.
I've been held back my whole life.
Wah.
And now, I just need a chance to finally be free. Wherever that takes me.
I'm here to offer you a way out, okay?
Get off my ship, Jalen.
Give me a chance.
Who does he look like?
I don't even want to. I'm just this guy right here.
Yes, this guy right here.
Don't, no. Shut up. Shut it up.
Another derivative of Kyle Katarn. He's got the look. Will he have the personality? They just can't help themselves.
Oh, why did you say that? Why? What? You're my hero, Ron.
Garth,
You come out with stink like that. Poop. Poop mouth. Poop out of your mouth.
Do I need to get that as a clip just to play?
You do. You really do, because you come out with stink like that. And poop. You gotta be kidding me. And then, of course, we've got to have this ninja droid from Clone Wars.
Yep. Yep.
Next,
he just needs a briar pistol, and he's all set.
I mean, the only... I don't know.
you're gonna have to trust me. It'll be dangerous, risky. But if you pull this off, you'll never look over your shoulder again.
The underworld shows no mercy.
Talon.
But it's a big galaxy out there. And I'm gonna risk.
You think that was Talon Card?
This is the one thing that Lucas loyalists like. I just have one thing to say to you. One thing to say.
Yeah.
Destroy it!
Literally.
Cast it into the fire!
Yeah, 100% that's Talon Card. 100%. You were sat there in your chair. And this is your favorite book.
Shadows of the Empire? Yeah.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
That is 1000%. Tell me that's not Talon Card. Tell me it's not.
Either he's Talon Card or
he's Talon
Card. Since I mentioned Shadows of the Empire, he's the stand-in for Shizor. Because for some reason, for some reason, they're scared to have aliens generally. I mean, yeah, we just saw some in that cantina, but when it comes to like generally other actual roles, they very rarely have aliens in the particular roles.
What happened to Eclipse when we reviewed this game 10 years ago when we started?
I think that one's still being worked on.
They said by the end of the decade. No, like no. You of all people, Fracture, should be just losing your mind because it's Kyle Katarn. I have a right to be upset because it's Talon Card, and Talon Card was in Heir to the Empire.
Yep.
Who's the developer of this game?
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft, of course.
But it's a big galaxy out there.
Luke Skywalker.
And I'm gonna risk it all.
Pause it. That character looked like Aunt Beru from A New Hope. Keep playing it, not this.
Out there. And I'm gonna risk it all.
Right there, Aunt Beru. The same outfit from A New Hope. That is literally.
That's what she's been wearing throughout this trailer.
That's Aunt Beru, dude. Before she got
incinerated,
barbecued.
Well, she had that damn thermal detonator. She should have been a little more careful.
Star Wars Outlaws, coming 2024.
Next year. Okay. You know what? With all this stuff that we've watched, when it comes to these trailers and everything, do you ever get the real sense that this is anything Star Wars?
No.
Like, to me, this always comes off as this could be any other sci-fi game or setting or whatever. So there's nothing that makes it feel Star Wars. This could be any other sci-fi setting.
Yeah. It's not Star Wars.
For all we know, it was, and they just repurposed it, reskinned it, slapped it on the plastic lunch box, and now they're selling it. They repurposed like another game slap Star Wars skin. This is the Skinwalker suit stuff. Slap the skin of Star Wars on top of it, and there you go.
It's not
Agreed, Wookie. Generic sci-fi. Because it just has nothing Star Wars, none of that feel, nothing. I mean, think about those trailers that I've played before for opening our show. Those are Star Wars games. They have the music, they have the feel to it. You know, you can tell it's Star Wars. This doesn't, other than like it is. Yeah, you have the droid, but and some of the Star Destroyers and stuff like that. But that doesn't make it Star Wars. It's just a weird property wearing it like a skin suit. That's all it ever feels like.
Yeah.
All right. On to now. Hang on. The gameplay. This is definitely my first time catching this. Whew, 10 minutes. Let's see how this goes. Work in progress does not represent final quality. Yeah. When it comes to Ubisoft, they put out they can put out some good presentation, but after that, they always lower the quality.
Good boy.
I want that fighter stripped for parts by tomorrow.
Pike.
All right, next. Let's go get paid. That worked.
We cannot trust those officers. They take our credits now, but what stops them from stabbing us in the back?
Little NPC chatter.
Hit that button.
What is it with these having companions so much now? Jedi Survivor.
Nice one.
I have
Fallen
no
Order.
idea.
Now this game.
Hang on tight, little buddy.
I was just leaving.
Oh, they remembered that there's other languages like Huttese, huh?
Shield.
Little covering system going
Hey,
on.
Nick. Catch.
getting bad. Let's try this out. Stink Ferric.
Oh my no! Stop it! Stop playing this. No, I was just saying. Did she say?
Dank Ferric? Yeah.
So excited.
Wookie saying looks like ripped off Gears or Mass Effect in third person. I was gonna say it looks like it's kind of looking like the because of like some of the mechanics of like stealth and stuff like that. The new Deus Ex games like Mankind Divided and stuff. That was some of the but the gameplay, the gunplay, I should say, the gunplay looks like shit. Gunplay looks very stiff. I mean, I get it. Like they already said at the beginning of this. Oh, it's just work in progress, but it could at least you're presenting this to people to make it enticing. Not enticed.
I think that went pretty well, right? Oh, these guys don't quit.
All right. This is already feeling very scripted and very on rails. This isn't gameplay. This is reminding me of the Cyberpunk trailer. This is not natural gameplay. This is all scripted.
That was close. Indy 5, I got the package. Where are you?
Waiting for you at Jauntus Hope. Were you seen?
I said I got it. What else matters?
Should I assume we won't?
Is this an RPG or just a scripted game?
What?
This is supposed to be an open world sort of game. So like a lot of Ubi shits games. Probably like Assassin's Creed or stuff like that. Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and everything. All their open world titles. I mean, they have their practice with the quote unquote genre.
Well, they'll probably forgive me.
Comforting.
There's Jauntus Hope. We made it, Nix. Hey, Andy.
Dude, it's the cantina from
What? Are you worried?
Halcyon Star Cruiser.
No, but you Troy.
What?
Be careful.
We don't serve their kind
There's
here.
a broker.
We don't want them here.
She can't be trusted.
Who can out here? See you back at the ship.
Round 2 and I still like my odds. K-Vess. Back already. I told you she's fresh, but she's good.
Who's this?
Just a friend.
Is it just me, or does the Mon Cal there just sound like Sid from Bad Batch?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, not just me. Good.
Join us.
Job was more complicated than you said, Dunka.
You lived.
Because you got caught like a dummy.
Hey, these aren't toys. They're investments.
Wait. We haven't met. Don't really know many of you.
Stealing illegal contraband, running with syndicates. I could say you're a threat to the Empire. But I won't have to if you're smart.
Ooh, we got some dialogue options.
I'm smart enough to get myself out of trouble.
You pay the tax just like everyone else.
Whoa, kid, let's just relax.
You won't make it off to Shara alive.
Maybe.
All troopers, we have reports of a fugitive in Jauntus Hope. Move to apprehend.
That Imperial announcement wouldn't be about you, would it?
Could be.
I told you not to trust her.
Not the first time we've outrun the Empire.
She is just giving more and more just kind of Han Solo ripoff vibes.
We need to leave.
Yeah, no kidding. Are we good?
So how much of space is going to be explorable, I guess? Oh, we got a space battle.
TIE fighters on us.
Got one.
I feel inclined to remind you that we should shake the Empire quickly.
Thanks, I'm working on it.
ND, get us out of here.
Dueling hyperdrive.
Let's jump.
Quite the maneuverability for a ship that size. I guess the Falcon was pulling off impressive maneuvers too.
We made it.
The broker completed.
Hey. Got your new toy.
So, where do we go next?
Anywhere we want.
Even with the Empire chasing you? Supposedly?
Star Wars Outlaws, coming 2024.
Well, I gotta give it to Wookiee, like he said. Already too many cinematics for gameplay. there was not a lot of gameplay within that quote unquote gameplay walkthrough. They should have been showing off a lot more than just that. That was just not that was, like I said, there was that little bit of gameplay inside that little hangar bay or whatever where she first gets caught. And after that, it might as well have been another cinematic, because basically that little chase when she got out on her vehicle and then took out the pikes that were chasing her, that was practically another cinematic. That was on rails. That was not natural gameplay.
No.
And then then after that, just one long cutscene. I don't know. I guess Ubisoft is taking pointers from Sony. I don't know. But
it just felt very I'm not. It's It didn't feel very. I don't know, man. It didn't feel. You said it was open world. It's not RPG though. It had one option. It doesn't feel Star Wars.
Yeah, it had a dialogue option. It's open world. It doesn't feel very Star Wars to me. Again, it could be any generic sci-fi sort of thing. And also, like Wookiee pointed out, Ubisoft is rinse, repeat, and boring as hell. Clear this, do this every area. I mean, basically. It. There was nothing really to go off of, not a lot more to go off of that than just a few things. Like I said, it kind of had which I guess would be more equating it to Assassin's Creed, since that's Ubisoft. Because so that would be like some of those light, very light stealth mechanics that they kind of showed off, along with grabbing onto the environment and stuff like that. But I mean, otherwise, the gunplay itself looked very clunky, looked very stiff, didn't come off very fluid at all. It didn't look fun, that's for sure.
I don't know.
Then the chase scene, like I said, on rails. It doesn't actually give you a look or feel for the way the vehicle is going to handle, because they were fully in control of that thing. So, and then it just goes into cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. A little bit of the space battle. We got a little glimpse into that, but for 10 minutes, you should be showing off a lot more gameplay than what was given to us. A lot of that was eaten up by the cinematics.
You're right. Not once again, not impressed. Haven't been impressed. I just just not impressed. Like in this, my question is, when was this released? Because we just did Jedi.
It comes
Survivor.
out next year. This dropped like this week.
Okay. I was like,
although it was kind of close after we did last week's Saturday Night Sith. It kind of was like, guess what? Sorry, I didn't see you over on Rumble. Zach Boss, how's it going? Hello there. But yeah, this dropped like this week or so, or over the weekend. I was just like, of course, it drops when we finish the show and everything.
Naturally. Yeah.
But no, this was another thing. This was something that especially teed me the really hell off. Hang on. Oh, damn it. StreamYard is grabbing too many things for me. There we go. But get this. The Star Wars channel says, meet cunning scoundrel Cave S. This is the trailer that we just watched. In Star Wars Outlaws, the first ever open world Star Wars game. I'm sorry, excuse me. The first? Bitches. I did say first ever open world Star Wars game. Piss off. Star Wars Galaxies came first. Goddamn revisionist history. And if you want to go even possibly further, the tabletop game for Star Wars, that's considered an open world RPG. It may not be a video game, but they said first ever Star Wars game. So that was open world. Star Wars Galaxies was open world. Star Wars The Old Republic was open world. Piss right the hell off.
Good.
You bunch of cunts.
Let the hate flow through you.
Well, I was just like, you've got to be shitting me. Really? I mean, it's even funny to disregard Star Wars The Old Republic, considering that's still active. It's still being worked on. As crappy as the most recent little story patch was, it's still active. And yet they disregard it. Now, I would even say The Old Republic is a little more theme parky with their worlds. Excuse me. But it is still open world because of going from planet to planet, and the planets are, excuse me again, sorry, rather large. So they still fit under that category, but Star Wars Galaxies especially falls under that category. The planets were gigantic and allowed on a lot of the planets for you to build player cities and stuff like that. Really added extra life to the game besides just what was already pre-done via the developers and stuff. That brought more life to the game. And then not only did you have the planets to explore, but then when they added the jump to light speed expansion, that opened up space. You then had all of space. You could go, basically, you poured it up into the atmosphere. And then you could, yes, use your hyperspace drive to go to other planets instead of just using like basically the taxi. But you could do it yourself. And that just added that extra environment of exploration, and also where you could be attacked, do missions and stuff like that. It was already also very much an open world game. I see this. I like, okay, little story elements I can make fun of. But it's like when you start doing the revisionist history, when they take derivatives, okay, that's just hilarious because you're already showing you don't have a creative bone in your body. So you have to rip off from the EU.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are trying to revise the history of these games of what came before, that is what partly ticks me off.
Partly?
Okay, a whole lot.
Right.
Oh, and I mean, yeah, because it's like, yeah, it looks like Kyle Katarn, the one guy.
It is Kyle Katarn. Because
of this is the what is it? Outlaws, the underworld, the syndicates, and stuff like that. Okay, we are, and it's between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Yeah, I to me, it suddenly gives me Shadows of the Empire. Makes me think of that. Okay, that's what they're ripping off from now. You from the one guy we got shown, you thought Talon Card, which, yeah, he kind of has the look. That sort of stuff is just funny, but it's like you start trying to claim, no, we're the first. Fuck off. No, you're not. You are far from the first. You'll never be the first. But at least, acknowledge what came before you. Twats. All of them. Right into the fires of Mustafar in my book. Throw them all in. All in.
Go back to it's like Gandalf says, it's like, go back to the fiery chasm whence you came.
Exactly.
No, I'm sorry, Gandalf didn't say that. It was Lord Elrond.
Wookiee said Survivor is Uncharted. This is Creed, just reskins, more or less. Yes. Dropped during Summer Games Fest. Oh, yeah. That's when they dropped that trailer for the Outlaw game. First one you played was KOTOR. Nice. Well, that's gonna be a subject in just a moment. It's the first for Disney. I don't care. Fuck that. They bought the property. They took it in. It still falls under the Star Wars banner. They don't get that. I'm not giving that to them. Fuck them. Car brands do the same thing, claim to have the feature first, but other brands have them for years. Well, and even that was like the same, like that was notorious for like Apple, like Steve Jobs. Yeah, I think that was him. That was the guy for Apple,
Steve
right?
Jobs.
Yeah,
Yep, Steve Jobs
was notorious for like basically a patent troll, ripping on, like taking a lot of patents and applying it to his own stuff and screwing over other creators. Because that was even like the thing for the iPod. I think somebody else had created something very similar, and he yanked it, and we got the iPods out of that. But it doesn't mean I won't call them out on their shit, because fuck them.
I don't necessarily think he did that.
Just what I've heard over the years.
From Samsung, of course.
So you had a topic that you were bringing up before we started the show.
Yes.
That I thought was a pretty good little topic to go into. Go ahead and roll it off there.
Well, since I lost my mind during the first article.
And this is a good way to detox from the shit. So yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of talk about KOTOR 1, KOTOR 2,
and Star Wars
New Republic. Yeah. I wanted to just kind of have a fun little conversation about which one we enjoyed more, because I currently, like I said before the show, am going through KOTOR 2 right now.
A very good one.
I played KOTOR 1 probably. I can't even tell you how many times I've.
Oh yeah,
I think there's like 32,000 different ways to beat this game. Honestly,
I can't count how many times I started a game, maybe finished, but didn't always finish. But I always love starting the game up and getting it going and everything. So yeah, lots of time spent in that game.
So, I mean, I guess we could start with like the KOTOR games, because they're different, right? Like KOTOR, well, in a sense, like. They're both RPG, but I think
both RPGs, very different stories.
Very different story.
But the settings are a bit different. The themes are very different on that too. So they are different in certain ways for sure. Just like gameplay mechanics, though, still about the same. World setup about the same. But we got different places we're going to this time. And yeah, again, it's kind of a different, and they got some interest. They brought in some interesting mechanics for the second game.
Right. So, I just think it'd be a fun little exercise. Go through and say what's our favorites and kind of compare the two and kind of go from there. So I personally have not read. I've not read the Revan game. I've not played the Revan book. However, I really, I mean, if I was to rank them, obviously KOTOR 1 in my book. I think just because for a lot of it's nostalgia, and I love the gameplay. I love the story was great. The character, I mean, who doesn't love Jeudy? If you don't like Jeudy, I don't know what's going on with you in your life. Like Jeudy's
I was always more partial to Canderous.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Canderous. The one I cannot stand is Carthonasi, the little pacifist baby.
Well, everything, he distrusts everything.
Yeah. No, but I I don't even know where to start. Like the gameplay, the Rancors, the Rancors in the game, the different planets you could go to. Like it was just, I love the fact that, I mean, we all know Revan was a man. Those who think he was a woman, you're wrong. He was a man. Just because you're able to play a female character does not mean Revan character was a female. and you got so playing the game, and this is the difference between, let's say, I don't know, like actually Lucasfilm and LTD who created the game. Like, they created the game, right? It was under Lucas.
It was
LTD.
LucasArts.
Arts versus
But BioWare was the developer.
Back when
LucasArts was the publisher.
Yes. So, but it even gave you, like, you learned from the game. So, like, Mandalorians and Canderous, and my goodness,
yeah.
I've learned just the stories that Canderous told and how he told them, and the Canderous is the Canderous in the game is completely different than the crybaby Mandalorians that we got in the Mandalorian, which is, there's such a disconnect, and it's like, so I just, Revan, Malik, Bastila, I just,
for a while too, I always found I sometimes found Bastila could be rather annoying at times, just because it was always like she was trying to take on this sort of like mentor role and everything, but at the same time I was like, she's not so bad, she's just trying to kind of keep you in line. But then you realize what actually happened, then it's like, especially then you're kind of like, bitch, really?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Oh yeah, just the dynamics of the game. Like, I can't tell you like how many times I'd come home from school and I need to do my homework and I would not play. Like, I put so many hours into this game on a nightly basis that like I could cook an egg on my Xbox 360. But even like, and then like the Pazak, and how you learn, like you could learn how to play Pazak.
Never got into playing the Pazak game. Never could.
Pazak, I called it Pazak, but yeah, Pazak, and it's just, there wasn't any point in that game where I was really bored. There was one part where I got really, really frustrated, and that's where you're on Manon and you're trying to help prove Jolie's friend is innocent or not, and obviously being a Sith, I couldn't care, so I basically proved that he was guilty, even though technically he was justified or whatnot. But I mean, that was a little bit of a stretch there, but like, no, it's great. And then like, how you could literally beat the game, so many different ways to beat the game, and you could and there's so many party members that you could focus on, just character development with, I don't think character development, but like relationship piece with them, and
right.
So, and then KOTOR 2.
Well, and what's funny too with like KOTOR 1 is how they had like they had Juhani in there, and she was a character that I bypassed completely. Like, I think I killed her my first time playing through, and I didn't realize you could get her as a character until later. And what was even funnier is that she was going to be romanceable. LucasArts told BioWare to remove that, and then they later patched it back in for same-sex romance with Juhani.
Mm-hmm.
So that was always an interesting little kind of thing around that game. But that's it. The funny thing is, like, BioWare seems to have games where there's always like a character that's really optional and you don't have to get. So you could bypass them completely. Juhani was one. In Dragon Age, it was, Liliana, I think it was her name. She was completely a character I just completely missed. So it's always funny with these sort of things where you could do that. Didn't add anything to she can add something to the story. And then the second game was, first Dragon Age 2, I forgot who the character was that was kind of optional. And then like Inquisition, I got a character there that they had, and then I just completely forgot about her.
Yeah.
Weird that they're all female. I swear this doesn't mean anything.
Right. Of course not.
No, because Sten, the guy in Dragon Age 1, Sten, the Kunari guy, I bypassed him, I think, at one point. I think I was starting to talk to him, and then I just kind of left him. I think. I could be wrong. I forget. It's been a long time. That's the first time I ever played, so. But yeah, sorry, I just wanted to kind of touch on that really quick. KOTOR 2.
Yeah, and then KOTOR 2, and I've not played KOTOR 2 as many times as KOTOR 1, but that's why I'm kind of going back, going through it and playing it so I could jog my memory. But it brought a different aspect. Like you're still in the Ebon Hawk, which is interesting, but then you've got this mysterious blind like Kreia.
Yeah.
Who, if you don't like Kreia, again, I don't know what's wrong with you. And then Sidon, is it Sidon? Siren?
Theon.
Theon. Yes.
Darth Theon and Darth Nihilus.
I love how you can go to Nar Shaddaa. I believe that's a planet, right? You go to Nar Shaddaa on this one?
Yeah, you go to Nar Shaddaa.
You weren't able to go in KOTOR, but in this game you can, and I absolutely love Nar Shaddaa. Nar Shaddaa is out of all planets, I mean, Nar Shaddaa is my favorite.
Well, and too, because with Nar Shaddaa, if you are light side or dark side, depends on a companion you can get.
Right. I think. I don't remember. I don't remember. So you speak better because it's been so long since I played it. But and then the Black Sun, the bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Are introduced, but like that's where you learn about the Black Sun, and if you, it's just the point is these games, like you're able to learn from these games. It's not like you're playing a game just to play. Like you are like, and I could be wrong, but for me, like I was able to learn stuff. Now, whether you can make the argument if it's 100% accurate or not, I'm assuming it is because it's LucasArts, but it just, you play and then you want to kind of research like, Black Sun, the Bounty Hunter Guild. Let's look at this with Black, and then you realize and you learn that the Black Sun was not necessarily anybody that you wanted to be tribaled with. They did not want to. You did not want to trifle these people. Like
no, they are not to be taken lightly.
So, and that's like I said. So you speak more to KOTOR 2 because I think you've probably played.
Knights of the Republic 2 is a game I did like a lot for the change up in the story. Kreia added this weird element to it because she would kind of. No matter what you kind of did, she had a reason to chastise you for your actions, but at the same time, she's kind of providing an interesting lesson to it all, and it was still kind of testing you on your actual like dedication to the path you were choosing too. That was kind of the interesting thing with that. And this game, like I said, it brought in an interesting game mechanic because in this game, depending on your alignment, your companions, through building relationship with them and stuff like that, they could embrace that side. They could embrace the light, embrace the dark, and then you could potentially, for some, bring out force powers out of them, which I think was mostly like this kind of Jedi scholar dude you find on Dantooine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could do it the whole party, but that was kind of the interesting little vibe you got from that, was that they really brought into focus the idea of how you can kind of use the Force to even manipulate your own companions and not just regular NPCs that are out in the world. And I mean, it brought in new Force powers for sure, but that was just kind of the interesting dynamic that I did like about it, because of that kind of, you could kind of have those moments of manipulation. The thing that always got me between both games too is like these two games, my first playthroughs, I always managed to play it very neutral. I was neither light side nor dark side, but I would pick light side, dark side options. Sometimes I would maybe stray to the dark side. Sometimes I'd maybe stray more into the light, but no matter what, I would be a bit of a neutral bitch. I was a fence sitter. I did not take the lessons of Revan to embrace the dark or the light, to seek true power. I was trying to play that balancing game.
Mm-hmm.
And in KOTOR 2, especially, this is where alignments were coming into play a lot, because if you were light side or neutral, you would get Mira as a companion, who was a smoking hot redheaded bounty hunter. And then, or you could get the Wookiee, who is known as Hanhar, if you were dark side. And funny things is, Sheester, who's usually very much a dark side player, he would go to Nar Shaddaa first just to make sure he got Mira so he wasn't stuck with the walking carpet.
Yeah. Go
but
where
that
first?
was always the
Where would he go first?
Nar Shaddaa, so he could get because that's where you got Mira. The thing was that also with this storyline was that it also, not only were you learning about the Jedi exile, who we get canonized as being a female character, Mitra Surik, but we learn through that the exile completely shut off from the Force and was kind of this God, how do I put it? This kind of void in the Force that Kreia especially found interesting in you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you were starting to reopen yourself to the Force as the game progressed and everything. And then that's where, oh God, I was going somewhere in particular. A lot of this stuff too was elaborating more on even Revan and what he was doing during the Jedi Mandalorian Wars. Especially once you get like the companion Goto, who also helps explain just exactly what Revan was doing during the war. Like the fact that Revan was holding and keeping in place like Republic structures and defenses and stuff like that. While he may have I think it was like more into the Jedi Sith civil war that went on when Revan went to the dark side. He still kept key like military emplacements and stuff for the Republic, but he of course had taken them over, but he kept them well modified, which lends to the whole thing that he was preparing for the distant threat that was out there in the galaxy, which sounded a lot better until we get to the Revan book, but I'm not touching that one.
Right.
I just looking at his Coder 1, Coder 2. But that was kind of the cool thing, was that we got some more fleshing out of Revan, what he did during the Jedi Sith Civil War and stuff like that. And even some of the Mandalorian War stuff too. The fact that you run into the new Mandalore who got the helmet thanks to Revan.
Right.
You'll know who that particular Mandalore is.
Right.
But also then they brought in some unique characters, and we have our new Karth in this game, but he's not Karth. He's not whiny or anything like that. That's Atten Rand. He was an interesting one. He was kind of this weird smuggler type, but he had that whole military or kind of mysterious past, which we end up finding out was him helping the Sith side even lure, kill, or turn other Jedi and Force users over to the dark side. And it was the cool part about it too, was that he explained just how he went about doing that, how you could trick a Jedi's senses and stuff and everything, like how he went about keeping his mind busy on other things, even though he was luring them into danger and stuff like that. Even HK, when you get him back and operational, he's very much, I think it was in Knights of the Republic too, where he's just like, if I see one more person running up in front of a Jedi, I will shoot them dead myself.
Right.
Because it was all about the element of surprise and trying to take out a Jedi where possible. So they did. Obsidian, who is the developers, are a company that can generally mimic a previous game setup and everything, and then they with their writers, they at the time their writers and stuff knew how to take the storylines into new places, and I thought they still did a very good job. The thing that a lot of people would probably that complained about Knights 2 was that it didn't have the same sudden twist payoff or whatever that Knights of the Republic 1 had, and people were disappointed by that. But I mean, to me, I felt like they still did a very admirable job with it. I liked it. I thought they kind of had their own little twist. Just it wasn't as big or impactful as it was in Knights 1. And of course, then you also go to Malachor. You get to learn about Malachor and what happened there and all that sort of malarkey. And that was name dropped, I think, by Canderous with some of his war stories.
Right.
That you finally get to see that place and everything. So, yeah.
What are your thoughts on SOTOR?
Oh, God. Star Wars The Old Republic. It is a game that is filled with a great deal of potential, I felt. The storylines, generally speaking, were all pretty good, save for a few, like the Jedi Consular, the Trooper. The Trooper really needed a lot of reworking, in my opinion. Jedi Consular, unfortunately, was just it had a lackluster ending, especially compared to what the Jedi Knight went through. Even though the Jedi Consular was doing an equally big event sort of stuff that was going on, but it just came off very, very lackluster. Bounty Hunter was really dependent on how you played it. So if you played it more like a mercenary bastard character, it was a lot more entertaining and fun. If you played it a little too straight-laced, all for Mandalore and all that sort of stuff, it kind of was a little stale and boring. But overall, it wasn't terrible. This is possibly my bias speaking, but personally, I think the Sith Warrior, Inquisitor are probably the two of my favorites. The Imperial Agent's a very good story, very good. Has that kind of moment of, it's very much like a spy thriller sort of setup, and it's damn good for what they did. And the Jedi Knights is a Jedi Knight story. It's very much what you'd expect for that Jedi class. Yeah. And it's good, especially if you do make, because I know the voice actor, his other roles, David Hayter, who's voiced one of my favorite characters, Solid Snake / Big Boss. If you get him saying angry things and stuff like that, more of that voice comes out. So that's always a little treat. But like I said, Knights for SOTOR, the Sith Inquisitor and Sith Warrior are probably my two favorite storylines, especially as often as my brother and I have gone through them. They just fit so perfectly with those variations of the Sith. Sith Warrior is probably it's not like you're getting your own version of Darth Bane or anything where you're revolutionizing the Sith, but it's very in tradition what you would expect for a Sith storyline. They could have done a little more with both of them, especially, they could have done it with all of the classes when it came to the storylines involving like the first like training area, the training planet. They could have really fleshed that out a lot better, had more time actually showing you training and stuff like that. But otherwise, those are probably like the two stories that I find that are just fantastic. I just wish it wasn't just the 3 chapters. Well, right. Initially that was very much a good portion of time that it could take to get through it, because it's levels 1 through 50. And there's a lot of stuff that can be done on each planet before you leave them. But the main storylines, you can whip through them pretty quick now, especially. And after that, it's just sad because the the specialty of your class storylines start to go away, and it all gets just melded into one narrow story, which I feel is very counter to what the original plan at least seemed to be, which was having these variant classes being able to have these own unique storylines. Because even they were saying, oh, this is your coder 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, whatever, for all the different classes, because they are all individual storylines. Problem was is BioWare didn't seem to want to actually put in the time to add new storylines for those classes. Now I understand you have 8 classes or so or whatever to work on, but the way I always saw it was like, okay, spend time, work on one, put it out, you get that done, then work on the next class, and just keep doing that and circle back around, continue and keep making new quests, main storylines, or like do like all the Empire at once, all the especially for as much time as it was dead for nothing new coming about other than the PvP stuff. It's like you could have done like the Empire expansion where all the classes for the Empire got their new chapters for storylines to get to go through and enjoy, then do the Republic or vice versa. You know, it's a game that had a great deal of potential that sadly just seemed to have gotten squandered by BioWare, and is probably like for the kind of moniker of being part of the Knights of the Old Republic saga. Besides the Revan book, it got pretty weak. Like this was like the Revan book, I put at the lowest tier, the bottom of the barrel, and then you'd probably go SWTOR, and then Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I'll put Coder 2 and then Coder 1 at the top because that's just the way it's gonna be.
Say that one more time.
Coder 2 and then Coder 1. Coder 1 being up at the top.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. So if it's like, okay, I can't just say I was like, oh, Coder 1 and 2 I would put about equal, but no, you can't just do that. You have to actually separate for which one. And I would say probably, Coder 1 has a bit more of the stronger story, even though I like more elements from 2 than 1. So yeah.
I mean, us playing through, like, I do enjoy SWTOR.
Yeah.
I like the fact that it is I do like the MMO of it. I think, obviously, like, I don't know if lockdown's a better word, but like the KOTOR games obviously are more locked. I'll say the term lockdown, meaning like they're not MMOs, so like you are following the story.
They're a little more linear, yeah.
Yeah, you do have the freedom to choose what you want to say as it being an RPG. And I do like the fact that you have freedom to go where you want to go. But I think if I was to say SWTOR is just on a whole nother level. I'm particularly not happy with SWTOR because I read the Deceived book and it was an absolutely amazing book. I keep forget who did Paul Kemp, maybe, I think wrote it. I apologize if I'm mistaken, but absolutely amazing book. But again, I know that I'm biased because Malchus is one of my favorite Sith Lords out there. Varadin, if you didn't know, for those of you who don't know his real name. So it's just an amazing book. I mean, this man, it has his Twilight lover in his arms, and she's like, "I love you," and he's like, "I know," and basically, well, he just
hasta la vista,
baby, through her heart with his lightsaber because he noticed that she was the one weakness. But I mean, he's just an amazing book.
No, it's I forgot to bring that up, but the Deceived book is really good.
So, and then when you're saying, "Oh, we're gonna play SWTOR," so when we started doing Sunday night shenanigans, you're like, SWTOR is just a continuation of the book. I was like, I was already mad because I was like, we didn't get up, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger. And it's like, well, the game's supposed to be
picks picks up a bit
It's so
after,
stupid. Write a
or
second
years
book,
after
Paul
that.
Kemp. If you're still out there, write the book that we all deserve. But I do like it. The story's a little bit, I mean, times goofy. I mean, my goodness, I always thought Kyle Katarn and Revan were supposed to be two different characters. So that was irritating. And I should have known something was up when you and Sheepster were acting squirrely when we were doing this event. I should have seen it and I didn't.
Well, we were trying not to how do I say, what are the words I'm looking for? Kind of color your perspective on the storyline, because we wanted to get your fresh take since you are a new player and everything, and we were just wanting to kind of go, okay, so is he gonna kind of have the same reactions as us? And lo and behold, you too thought it was complete and absolute dog water.
Yeah,
for poor Revan. And the Revan book doesn't help things, because it gives you more knowledge of what came before that event in the storyline, but it does no justice to Revan whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I choose to try and ignore the storylines for Revan in the book and what came through Star Wars: The Old Republic. They did him dirty.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I mean, the funny thing, like, I don't know what to say. Because yes, like the Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, I can understand in terms of the gameplay nowadays is very stiff, very, archaic, because it's just this weird sort of turn-based action style gameplay and not very action oriented or anything like that. And that is where like Sutor kind of has the advantage there. And if you could give that sort of gameplay, I'd even just take that of an MMO gameplay style in the Knights of the Old Republic games, that would help speed things up a bit.
Right.
It could make things pretty interesting. But I don't want to go. I would love a game. I would love them to remake. I'm not saying that. It just that it could have been an interesting way to have the gameplay.
Yeah. I don't know. Tentatively, maybe I'll change this next week. I'm gonna say probably KOTOR 1, SUTOR, and then KOTOR 2, just because I'm not.
Wow.
As of right now, because here's the thing. So SUTOR, I mean, the stories, I don't know. Maybe that's a difficult one, because I do like the companionship, meaning you can play it with a party.
Yeah.
It's massive. It's an MMO. Yes, the story is a little bit goofy at times, but I do. So albeit like it's the kid being able to do it with somebody, if that makes sense, and the open world.
Yeah, the co-op play is the extra little.
So
cherry
that
on
I will
top
say.
of
That I will say. This is why this is difficult, because like yes, that's why I like SUTOR, but again, the KOTOR games, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, right? I feel like you're able to learn more about Star Wars through those two games, if that makes any sense.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It's like it's I guess what it comes down to is, do you enjoy the companionship more than the
lore development and stuff? Yeah.
So I'm like, well, now I feel like I should retract my statement. My gut wants to say KOTOR 1, 2, and SUTOR, but like emotionally, it's like it's just fun. Like SUTOR is fun. It's fun to play with people, but with the lore aspect of it, you may not be getting a lot of lore knowledge out of the game. However, when you play it with other people that are Star Wars enthusiasts, it's kind of made up in that, because when you go to a planet, you go, oh, did you know, like there's the potential, not everybody, I'm not saying this for everybody, but like for like you, Sheepster, and I, like when we talk that lore throughout the game, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah,
they're
we're kind of helping fill in the
turns 1,000% not revving, like, and then you go in. So it just
that was the only part of that I liked, was that they got the voice actor from Kyle that played Kyle Katarn to voice Revan. That was the only thing I liked.
Yeah. So anyway, so I guess it just the kid. It just depends on, I guess, yeah. Lore or if you want to play.
And you know, the funny thing is with like SWTOR 2, you can discover like some more lore bits and stuff like that through exploration, through sometimes, at least for the world that you're currently in, through conversations with your companions and everything. But yeah, it doesn't quite have that same feel that KOTOR 1 and 2 brought for that aspect of it, for that world building and everything.
Yeah. So
because some of that they kind of left it dependent on you reading the books, reading the comics, watching all the trailers that came prior, you know, to fill in those tidbits. So
yeah.
But I mean, you can find like some of the holocrons on the different planets that help kind of fill in some extra knowledge here and there. But it really isn't the same thing.
Yeah, it's really not. So, lore aspect 1, 2, SWTOR from, I guess, a fun standpoint. 1, SWTOR, KOTOR 2.
Okay, I see. Okay, that makes a little more sense now.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just don't. I guess you could play KOTOR 1 and 2 on your own in a party on Discord, I guess. Or,
right.
or
yeah,
Twitch
you can hang
or
out with
whatnot,
people and kind of just chat while you're playing and stuff.
Right, but it's the of having, like, you know, throw a poison dart, throw a grenade, hit him with the force, hit him with the lightning storm, or it's that you can, like, that's the piece that's what's really fun, because when you're not just subject to 3 people who are Jedi. You can have a bounty hunter class, you can have an Imperial agent, you can have a Sith, like you could have whatever you want, and there's different combinations that you can, you know what I mean? It's just
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So lore, if we're I'd say based off lore. If you want lore, play the KOTOR games. If you want fun, play SWTOR. Not to say you can't not learn from SWTOR, but I've yet to learn anything really from SWTOR other than just the names of planets and whatnot. So yeah. BioWare did all 3 of them, which is ironic. That's right.
No, they didn't do KOTOR 2.
Okay, well,
that was Obsidian.
Ironic that KOTOR 1 and SWTOR were done by the same developer. Yet there's more lore. You learn more about lore in KOTOR, in my opinion, than you do SWTOR. So it's just funny, interesting.
No, I agree with you. It is kind of funny.
So,
yeah. That was a good way to detox after all that. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. I can't say I'm too looking forward to well, I mean, I'm probably not going to play Outlaw or anything like that.
Absolutely not.
I still haven't even touched Survivor. So
yeah.
So yeah. I've been keeping my eye out for it to hit the high seas, but nothing yet.
I just have no desire, because Survivor is just Disney canon. It's just a continuation of
that's
and I have no desire to, like, no, there's no desire to do it. And let's be, Eclipse has not, we watched that.
That was a weird one.
Yeah. There's nothing Star Wars about that game. Outlaw, there's nothing about the story about, there's no Star Wars feel about Outlaw. It doesn't appear to be MMO. It's open world, but it doesn't appear to be MMO. So, like, and it's very scripted, and it's like what Wookiee Be Bad said. Like, it feels like it's a combination of Gears of War and
Mass Effect.
I never played Mass Effect, but definitely I could feel like Gears of War type feel with the
with
shooting and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So Like, yeah, I don't like. What's the point of it? Like, what it's again, like it just comes back to like there's no new tricks. There's nothing new with them. It's always it's just, oh, it's a new game, but
it is, but it isn't.
Yeah, so
pretty much. Well,
yeah.
I think with that, though, that's a good point. We can call it a night. Thank you, Wookie, for hanging out and chatting while you were playing Diablo 4. Much appreciated, sir. We didn't get any of our usual suspects. Oh, John Ropus, a.k.a. Shaggy, was in earlier. Thank you for jumping in, sir. Didn't get some of our usuals. Didn't see Brandon and whatnot, but hey, it's Father's Day weekend. So people are probably out busy. I understand. Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Oh, that's I do have to make an announcement next week. I will be traveling.
Oh, really?
So yes, I probably will not be on next week. It's the niece's birthday. I forgot to tell you, niece's birthday next week in California.
Oh, you're going into the devil's den.
Got it. Yeah, I got it. Well, listen, she's turning 10, so Uncle Jake is going to fly out there, and yeah. So we'll talk after the show and see if we can work something out. I'll tell you what time the party is, but
yeah, no problem.
We may do.
Well, yeah, and California is an hour behind us, so we could.
Is it later or earlier? We could figure. So we might be able to figure.
You'll be earlier. I'll be later. So
that might actually work. Okay, we'll talk after the show.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Okay,
oh, Crimson Raptor was here. He was just hanging out, lurking. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We do what we can over here. So with that, next week who knows? Maybe I'll do something on my own. Maybe I'll grab a rando to help me out. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Or
maybe I'll do it from the airplane.
Or Hitman will be on the airplane while he's while he's getting angry on the airplane, and TSA has to calm him down.
Yes. Gosh. They throw me outside, just out of the plane.
Oh God. All right, everybody. Thank you for showing up. It was fun as always. Next week, keep an eye on the twats. I'll let everybody know, but you probably about 4:30 again. And also probably catch me doing some gaming streams. I went back to playing Fable Anniversary. I even got Static apparently reinstalling it. I thought that was pretty funny. I'll be also getting back to doing some System Shock streams, so keep an eye out for that. And sometimes on Tuesdays, I've been joining Jason and them over on 540 Studios with their stream, and I jumped in. I've been jumping in with Static for his pre-weekend stream on Thursday nights. Also been a lot of fun. We've been talking about a lot of interesting stuff. Like the week before last was discussing what woke means. And then this last week was introducing his brother Steve to e-thoughts, which was pretty hilarious. Nothing like introducing somebody to that corner of the internet for the first time. And got into some real interesting discussions about that whole aspect of internet culture. So, yeah.
Sounds like you've had a fun time over there.
Yeah, I've been branching out, so to speak. Getting around. And well, with that, I say good night, goodbye, have a good one, folks. Later.
What is thy bidding, my master? Yeah, I should have known from the very beginning. From what you said. Yeah, when the mega powers were formed. Yeah, what you were out for from the very beginning. Yeah, you were after what was mine. I remember what you said.
You can destroy the Emperor. Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yeah, that one was rough. Those words right there. Yeah, I got stuck, yeah, but I swallowed it anyway. Didn't like the taste, but I swallowed it anyway, yeah. But I remember the time when there was a conquistador out of the ring. The one that's so jealous that he can't stand it, yeah. Yeah, you came in there with your poses, yeah, but you made a big idiot out of yourself, yeah. And speaking of idiot things, what about that stupid idea? Did you forget that one? Think back. That right there sealed your fate. Yeah, that put the madness over the edge. But I'll tell you what felt even better, yeah, was in the dressing room, in the first aid room. Me being unselfish, yeah, said go ahead, do the thing, yeah. You won't steal my thunder, no. When you take a look at the madness's eyes, all you're gonna see is complete and utter